Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to McDivitt's here in Tampa. We're doing the latest podcast, final regular season pregame of the regular season. Canes at the Pitt Panthers Saturday, 12 noon on ABC, up at Agriculture Stadium. I call it Heinz. Guest is Pat Bostick. He's the longtime analyst with the great Bill Hillgrove, and he's been around for how long have you done this, Bill, Pat?
Oh man, about 13 years.
Yep, since 2011.
14, I guess. I can't count.
14. Yeah. Hey. Uh, Communication. You're a BA. You got a BA. You got your BA from Pittsburgh. Communication and rhetoric. Tell us about that. What I don't know about that with communication and rhetoric.
Yeah, it's an old program at Pitt. I did media and professional communication too. All the more of the old school speech writing, studying presidents and public speakers and those types of things, literature. And then the media and professional side was more practical. Didn't know I would be a broadcaster right out of school, right out of playing, but I landed on my feet. It was good.
Hey, went to law school too, by the way, for 2 years.
I did. Yeah. So, yeah, I got what 3 degrees from Pitt. Proud Pitt man.
Wow. You're a great guy. Also, assistant director of development from 2012 to 2014. You did athletic fundraising. Tell our audience about that and how that works.
Yeah, I've done that for a while. I've been in development at Pitt in the Panther Club from 2012 through now. I've dipped more into the NIL space now with the changes in college athletics and work close with our collective here, and now handle some of that stuff in-house. So it's been evolving, but it's been it's all part of engaging our base, our alumni, our businesses and donors, and connecting them with our program so that we could be competitive and have an edge. And ultimately, NIL is the most important thing for all of us right now in major college football.
Yeah, by the way, long time. The guy I've always wanted to interview, Pat, and you've been there 14 years, is a guy by the name of Bill Hillgrove.
Oh,
Bill Hillgrove is an absolute icon. If you hear NFL films and you see Steeler highlights, you will recognize that voice instantaneously. Like we have here in Tampa with Gene Deckerhoff.
Yep.
In Pittsburgh, Bill Hillgrove is an institution there.
Yeah. He did the Steeler broadcast for about 30 years. Stopped that a couple years back. He's done Pitt basketball since 1969 and Pitt football. Since shortly after that. It's his 52nd season. So 1973, he started doing play-by-play. So him and Gene Deckerhoff, obviously Gene did Florida State games forever.
And he did the Bucs for years.
Are both, did both. Billy did basketball too, does basketball too. So he's the rare trifecta. Was a local sportscaster in town too on television for the ABC affiliate. So he is an institution. He's a legend, and I'm honored to work with him for the past 14 years.
Yeah, I would love to have had him on. I'd like to get him on once. It's very hard to get a hold of him, but I would love to have him on a podcast one of these days.
Yeah, I'm sure if you get a hold of him, he'd do it. He's a busy guy.
I'm very well aware of that fact. Another thing, also, another guy he used to work with before we go on to the game was a guy. Two guys I think you may know very well. Myron Cope, institution in Pittsburgh. I'll use a Yoy, double Yoy in his honor. And the other one is Tunch Ilkin.
Yep.
Just recently passed a few years ago.
Yeah, God rest his soul. Myron and Tunch were his color men for the Steeler football games, and Craig Wolfley as well just passed away this summer.
Oh wow.
And all legends of broadcasting, and we've had a lot of them in Pittsburgh. Billy's kind of he's the center of the wheel, though, man. I mean, Bill is the best there is, the best there ever was, and
the best there ever will be. In the words of Bret Hart, the greatest professional wrestler.
That's right.
Yes. Get to last week, Georgia Tech. Wow. What can I say? You absolutely dismantled a very good Georgia Tech team on the road.
Yeah, it was a good win. It started off really clean, 28-0, and obviously things got interesting. It's a good Georgia Tech team. There's a lot of emotion. It was a packed house. Pitt was, I think they deserve a lot of credit for what they've done defensively, to hold that team to 100 yards under their season average, both rushing and total offense, to intercept Haynes King twice. He'd only thrown 2 picks the whole year. And then obviously the offense capitalized, and the young quarterback is played really well, especially when he's had protection. And young tailback Jakarian Turner from outside of Tampa is quite the player. He can run, he can go, and over 200 yards rushing. He was terrific. But it was a big win, as big a road win as I've been a part of, maybe since Clemson in 2016. To beat a ranked team like that in their own place with what was on the line.
With everything on the line, too, by the way.
Yep, with everything on the line for them and for Pitt, too, but more so for Georgia Tech. I mean, they win, they're in. You just go out there and take it from them. It was impressive.
Well, considering after what happened the week before against Notre Dame, when Narduzzi, when Narduzzi said they could lose 100-0 and it wouldn't matter, I found that insane. Tell us about that. What was the thought behind that?
I think what was intended and what was said were two different things. I think he was trying to communicate to his guys that, the pressure was off them and they could play free and cut it loose, and while also playing respect. Notre Dame's a very good team, as you guys know. Canes beat them early in the season. But I think what Pat was saying was, didn't want to have these guys going in there pressing and tight. It came out as if they didn't care about the game, which couldn't be farther from the truth. Game day for the first time in 20 years. Aaron Donald getting his jersey retired. There was a lot about the game that mattered. And, the game would have gone a lot different if Pitt had gone out and scored on the first drive. But Notre Dame has gotten better and better and better. And I know you don't want to hear that because there's a lot of – I see a lot of going back.
A lot of stuff going on there, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Notre Dame's a good football team. So is Miami, and Pitt did not play well enough in that game to win, regardless of what was said throughout the week.
Yeah, exactly. Two players on defense really stood out to me in that Georgia Tech win. Rasheem Biles, 15 tackles, 6 assisted, and Kyle Lewis, 11 tackles, 3 assisted, and total of 3 tackles for loss between the two. Tell us about that.
Yeah, all 3 linebackers that Pitt have, they call themselves the Sharks. They're long, they're athletic. They don't look like they don't look like Ray Lewis back there. They don't look like Denzel Perryman from back in the day. They're not 245 pounds. They're about 220, but they're 6'2". They can run, they can cover. Kyle Lewis is, I think Mel Kiper just projected him as a second-round draft pick at safety. He's playing outside linebacker right now. Basically, he's a linebacker, but he's also a nickel at the same time. And Braylon Lovelace had the pick 6 inside. Rasheem Biles has returned from injury. He plays in the box more. They're all terrific. They play with freedom. They're fast. That's probably the biggest thing. All 3 of them can clear 20 miles an hour on the GPS. And they're great blitzers. So they're going to need to play well again against your Canes.
Yeah, how is Pittsburgh preparing to deal with Carson Beck and that offense, knowing they'll be very cold up there? And a couple of things. What is the most intriguing one-on-one matchup we'll be seeing in this game that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Pitt kind of does what they do on defense. They're going to pressure you. They want to play in the backfield. They want to press you outside and make the quarterback make contested throws under pressure. That's what they want to make you do. First and foremost, it's about stopping the run. They do not want teams to be two-dimensional. What'll be a challenge is obviously Malachi Tony and the receivers, the eligibles outside. Tony in particular, because the way Pitt plays, there's going to be a one-on-one match. They don't by nature bracket or double team people. They're used to playing one-on-one, and Malachi Tony wins those a lot. He's going to be matched up against safeties. I'll be curious how Pitt plays against that. And if they're able to get Miami into obvious passing situations, they can mix things up. But on base downs, the matchup that I'll be watching is wherever he is, because he tends to come down with the ball, as you may have noticed.
Yes. Another thing I look at, Pat, is how is Jeremy Darvall, the Pitt O-line coach, preparing his tackles, Piercy and Bear, to deal with Maine, Mesidor, and Bain?
It's a lot. I mean, it's not just those two tackles that have to deal with them. It's going to be tight ends. It's going to be backs. It's going to be the quarterback getting the ball out of his hands. It's going to be running the football at them, so they can't just tee off on you. Seldom can you block those two with one guy. So I think that Pitt is going to have to stay ahead of the sticks and run the ball. We saw Virginia Tech do that a little bit last week, but Miami's only giving up 14 points a game, and that's pretty darn stingy. And when they get you in obvious, third and obvious or second and obvious, they let those guys tee off. They don't really have to bring much heat, so they can help out their secondary. And I think by all accounts, they're going to have their best cornerback. So they're formidable. They're talented, and Ruben Baines is going to be the first overall pick in my mind.
I think so too.
I think he is. He's just he's a unicorn at that position, to be as big as he is, but also as fast and dynamic as he is. You're gonna need a lot in your toolbox to deal with him.
Yeah, and that frees up Mesidor, and then on the inside you have maybe get David Blade back. We don't know, but you have a guy like Armando Blunt, who's supposed to, who our staff and our fans think is going to be a great star in the making.
Yeah, well, the front four is as good as you're going to see. I mean, people have asked me to compare Miami and Notre Dame on defense because both defensive clubs are really good. Miami started the season more explosively on offense. I think that, and they certainly held Jeremiah Love in check in that game. No one else has. I think that up four, front four, Miami might be better. I don't know if they're as deep, maybe as Notre Dame has proven to be over time. The second level and the secondary for Notre Dame is really good, but Miami's defense is a top 5 defense in the country in virtually every measurable category, and most importantly, they just have really good football players.
Absolutely. Who was a less talented player, Pat, that could have a massive impact in this game in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, Pitt's. I'll go a couple ways. Pitt is. They haven't had Desmond Reed a lot all year, and Jakarian Turner, Boosie Turner, who had 200 and a couple touchdowns last week. When he has had a lot of carries, he can break one. He's a 21-mile-an-hour guy. I mean, he can fly. So on offense, he's a guy that if Pitt's able to get the run game going, that would be massive in terms of controlling the front and being balanced. And then, Pitt hasn't had his kicker in 2 weeks, Trey Bukowski, a true freshman. And they missed 2 field goals at the end of half last week. I think this game is, a 6.5-point spread right now, which obviously favors the Canes. But if it's a game in tough conditions where you could come down to a field goal, if the Panthers are able to get Bukowski back, that would be massive. I mean, he had only missed 2 kicks all year before he was out. So we don't know where he stands right now, but
he's good. He's good.
He's really good, but he hasn't been available. He's been out with an illness, and we just don't know where that stands. So if he were to be able to be back, it'd be massive.
Yeah, we have a question, Pat, from Bryce W4277. What do you think about everything that is going on in discussions on what teams should and shouldn't be in the playoffs? And do you think head-to-head matter?
Yeah, I mean, head-to-head's the best evaluator of which is the better team, right, is who wins the football game. Yeah. I do think timing matters, right? You're dealing with teams that are having to come together at the beginning of a season more now than ever because of all the transfers and so forth that happen in college football. You see it in college basketball even more. But for me, how a team wins, that was a close game between Notre Dame and Miami, obviously, and the Canes came out on top. I think you saw the veteran presence of Carson Beck in that game, whereas C.J. Carr wasn't quite ready at that point for that environment. I think he's gotten better, but still think Beck's the better quarterback at this point. I think head-to-head ultimately should come into play, and strength of schedule otherwise should come into play. For whatever reason, the parity of the ACC has worked against it. And then in the years where it's been top heavy, the league is not deep enough. So it's kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't. But, to answer the question in short, I mean, I've watched Notre Dame on film, saw them in person. Haven't seen Miami in person yet. Will Saturday. I've watched them on film. To me, those are two playoff caliber teams when you watch them play. I don't think necessarily one may be in over the other, but to me, both are deserving. And head-to-head would come into play for me if I was making that decision.
Yeah, I think so too. Pat, question for you. What is the single most important factor for Pitt to win this game? Is it controlling the line of scrimmage? Is it winning the turnover battle, or is it something else entirely?
Yeah, I think it's both of those two things. Honestly, I mean, I think they need to win the negative play battle. So Pitt is very adept at getting after the quarterback in TFLs. They're not as good as they've been in those categories, but the TFL category in particular, the team that's behind the chains more in this game will have a hard time winning the game. And then the other, in turn, is the explosive play battle. Pitt has a propensity to generate explosive plays. They've got speed all over the place. They've got a quarterback that can run around and make plays with his feet and his arm on the move. The team that, Pitt in the Notre Dame game held Notre Dame to 5 explosive plays. One by Jeremiah Love on a 54-yard touchdown run where he spun. It was a thing of beauty. And then 2 of those plays were on offsides free play calls. So that means 5 plays, you're generally going to win. If they do that to Miami and can generate more explosive plays than Miami, more than even turnovers or anything else, to me, limiting negative plays, maximizing those opportunities against Miami on offense, making them one-dimensional, where blitz and so forth comes into play, and then the explosive play battle. Those 2 categories, Pitt wins them, they got a good chance to win the ball game. Conversely, the same thing is true for Miami.
I think for us too, it's basically control the line of scrimmage. 2 years ago, we went up to the Cold in Boston and we won convincingly. But this is a Pitt defense that is legit. They are very good, and we are going to have our hands full up there on Saturday, to be sure. Now, do you have a gut feeling, Pat, on how this will shake out, and what's your reasoning for that?
I think it has the makings of a really good football game. I really do. I think, Pitt has a lot of Florida kids on the roster. Ja'Carrion Turner's from Florida. Desmond Reed, we don't know his injury status. He's Miami guy. Poppy Williams is from Fort Lauderdale. The offensive coordinator, Cade Bell, is from the Jacksonville area, and his dad, Kerwin, was a Gator, obviously. There's a lot of Florida on the defensive side, at corner and safety and so forth. And I think, Pitt always rises to the occasion in games like this because Miami is the type of school, and this is with all due respect to Miami, that obviously is a name brand in the college football space and may not have offered a lot of these kids that are playing for Pitt. They might be the 3-star kid that Miami just got a better player or a bigger player or a faster player. And this is an opportunity for Pitt to go prove it, particularly for those guys that are from South Florida or the state of Florida, to prove that, hey, you missed me. Pitt has always embodied that mentality. Everyone has a high deal of respect and regard for the Hurricanes and the program. But this is a prove-it type of game. And the last time Pitt was in an environment where they played a top 10 caliber team, it did not go well against Notre Dame. I don't think they want to do that twice. So I think the Canes are going to see the Panthers' best shot.
I do too. But before we go, Pat, there's one more question Bryce has. What are your thoughts on all these head coaches being fired, and all the discussion as well? And also, what are your thoughts on that? Also, what is your opinion on the James Franklin hire at Bostick?
I'll start with the James Franklin hire. I think it's good for the ACC. I think it's a good hire for Virginia Tech. He's a proven winner. That program, this, having been a Canes follower for a long time. I mean, you remember those games between Miami and back in the old Big East, right? Miami and Virginia Tech and Pitt, Miami, where those were top 5 teams back in the day. It was a program known for its consistency and being relevant. They've lost that. James Franklin did that at Penn State. He ultimately lost his job because they didn't get over the top. But I know everyone knows that's easier said than done, getting over the top. So I think he'll bring a level of recruiting, a level of consistency to Virginia Tech that, frankly, they need, and our league needs them to be a contender, to be relevant. Lane Stadium is, I'm sure you've been there, is as good of an environment as you'll ever go to. It's awesome, and the ACC needs it to be a relevant one. So I like that hire. In terms of coaches getting fired in the carousel, I mean, it does. I do tend to agree that it does feel like it's playoff or bust. There's so much resource, so many resources and dollars going into the machine of trying to engineer championship level success, whether it's talent acquisition, roster, composition, coaching hires, general manager hires, all those things that if it doesn't work, I think the easy answer is to abandon ship and to find someone new. And I think some people jump to the gun on that and may regret it on the back end without letting things play out. But it's the nature of the beast. There's a lot at stake. I mean, there's just a lot at stake money-wise. Winning costs money, and winning makes money now more than ever, particularly in our league, right? I mean, in the ACC, you've got a deal that the more times you're on national television, the better exposure you have, the more money you make. And to do that towards the end of the season, typically you have to be playing really good football. So, and the CFP has its own financial carrot as well. So that's ultimately what tends to drive these decisions. But the proof will be in, if you make a change, do you get better? And only time will tell.
Yeah. Pat, to let you go, what's the best way for your listeners to connect with you or follow your work? And what final thoughts do you want to leave our audience with?
Yeah, no, my Twitter handle is at Pitt Bostick. You can, 93.7 The Fan, I host a show every Saturday morning in Pittsburgh from 8 to 9 called the Panther Insider Show. I'm also do some work on 93.7 The Fan during the week in Pittsburgh, in addition to my day job. And final thoughts is, man, like it's going to be great to have Miami up here. You talk about two programs we've discussed this before, I think, Danny, if you put a team together of all-time players that played at Pitt and Miami, give me that team against Alabama and Georgia. Give me that team against USC and Notre Dame. Give me that team against anybody. So we've got a long history of playing each other in whatever conference, and looking forward to another great one this weekend. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, Pat, thanks for coming on. Greatly appreciate it. We'll do this again. Hopefully we'll talk soon down the road. Have a great Thanksgiving with you and your family.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, Danny. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man. Hey, all right.